This week on Uncut Gems with Slim, you have to be willing to say yes to doing stuff for free. And I'm telling you, that right there will be the thing that allows you to get into so many rooms. Uncut
Gems with Slim, yeah, that's the name.
What's up, guys? We are back with another episode. Today is super special because I have my sister friend in the building, Miss Asia.
Hello.
Yes, I'm so excited to have my little sis in the building because this whole season is called Real Life Creatives, and we're talking about what it's like to be a creator in real life and what that actually looks like. And so today, the perspective that we are talking about discussing is like the self-taught creative. I personally identify as a self-taught creative, and my girl Asia is essentially a self-taught creative. And so a lot of times there's a lot of people in this world who want to be a creative and they have all of these ideas, right? But they lack the skills to bring them to life. So the first question I have for you is what was the first thing you ever did creatively, and how has your creative journey just changed over the years?
I think my first thing that I've ever done is I created this video for a church. It was called the Worship Encounter. It was a home church here and there.
Come on, audio visual.
Yeah, I mean, I was actually the girl in the back with the lyrics on the screen. I made them a video that had lyrics. That was my first introduction into video editing, in life. And then from there, I just I really just snowballed.
Okay.
Yeah. I honestly feel like I am an accidental creative. If that was ever a thing, it would be me.
You accidentally fell into it. And so what all encompasses your title of creative now? Because in my head, you a producer, you a photographer, you an editor, you do it all.
Honestly, I think it's ever evolving, right? If I had to put labels to myself, I would say that I am a video editor. Mm-hmm. I'm low. I'm real humble. So, this is hard for me. So I can take photos. Okay. I can edit videos.
An editor.
I would say that I'm a good marketer. I will say that.
A marketer, a producer.
And I design sets, if you didn't know.
A designer.
So I think that's really if I had to. We don't do titles.
No, we don't do titles.
We do categories. Okay,
so what has pushed you from being in a place where it's I have good ideas. Everybody got good ideas every now and then. But what took you from the place of being I have good ideas to I want to bring them to life. I want to put the tire on the pavement. I want to put my foot on the gas and bring this stuff to life. I want to learn how to edit this stuff. And what got you from imagination to product content?
Real tangible stuff. Honestly, I would say the number one thing is my environment and the people that I have around me. Okay. I have had a tribe that has had my back, that has said, girl, you do this, or even when I don't think it looks good, it's just yes, it's looks good. And honestly, people who actually believed in my work was the thing that allowed me to believe in myself more. And I was oh wait, I can do this. I can do this. I can produce. I actually can do this. So I honestly would say the people that I've had in my corner is actually the people that have allowed me to believe in myself, that has now given me, now I'm self-sufficient. Now I'm looking at my own work and oh yeah, I did it. I did that. And so that's really it was the encouragement of other people that really helped me.
So that leads into this. So I identify as a self-taught creative. Do you identify as a self-taught creative? So when it comes to that, when I think of self-taught, I think of someone who utilizes their resources and maximizes their opportunity to learn. So what does being self-taught mean to you? What does that look like for you? Real quick, I just wanted to take a moment and pause and ask, are you subscribed? Make sure you subscribe to us on all podcast streaming platforms and check out the visual on YouTube at Uncut Gems with Slim. Lastly, don't forget we are also on Instagram. Follow us on Insta to get motivational snippets, episode highlights, and so much more. Now, let's get back to today's episode.
So I was like thinking, I was like, self-taught. I was like, why did Jasmine pick me for this episode? Like, self-taught. And the number one word that came to mind was maximization. Like, the ability to maximize the environment that you are in is what makes you a self-taught creative. It is your tenacity to become a sponge in every environment that actually propels you to grow as a creative. It wasn't just, I sat in my room and I got on YouTube University and I just let God be God. Like, that's not how my story was. It was me being surrounded by other creatives that allowed my creativity to spark. And from there, I ask questions out the wazoo. Because I don't know about you, but I'm actually not let's sit in front of this computer and let's watch YouTube video on how to. No, because most of the time if I'm actually trying to do something, I'm not seeing the thing that I actually want to do. So I have surrounded myself around people. I have asked questions. I have done research for certain things that I maybe was too nervous to ask. But like, that was kind of like my thing. Like, and I think it's the thing that allows me to be a producer, or like when I did my first podcast, like when I worked on Dr. Jackie's first podcast, the way that I ended up doing it was from somebody looking at me and saying, you're going to be a producer. And what did I do? I didn't shrink back into a moment. Like, I say yes to things that I do not know how to do. Okay. And some people might actually be very terrified at that. But at some point, you actually have to start believing in yourself, right? As a self-taught creative, you may feel like insignificant because it's like, well, I didn't go to school for this, or maybe I'm not as good as this person. And no, I was not the best person starting off. I think one of my first clients that I've ever had was like a real estate agent, and they were like, well, I need you to do this and this. And I was like, I don't know how to do this, but I'm gonna figure it out, right? I maximize my resources. I use the people that I had, the Denars, the Pastor Mads, the Dries. I use my resources in order to actually learn everything. And I started saying yes to everything. And because I said yes, I grew from it.
Yes, and for me, like, self-taught has a lot of different things that go into it. It's really not self at all. Yeah. Like, a big part of it is finding, like, doing your research. I always stress, like, doing your research, because doing your research not only gives you more knowledge, but it also gives you more language to know the right questions to ask. And then, like you said, like, surrounding yourself with people who can help you. Like, if you're the smartest person in the room, like, you're in the wrong room. Like, you need to surround yourself with people who can also pour into you, but you don't want it to be a two-way street. Like, you don't want to be taking all the stuff from the people. Like, you want to be able to pour back in as well. But you want to make sure, like, you're networking and getting to know people who can help, like, elevate you, instead of being in a place where, like, you're the best at it, because you don't really get to grow in those scenarios. And so with that being said, you kind of mentioned going into rooms where it's like, oh girl, I don't know how to do that. I'm gonna say yes and act like I do, and then on the back end I'm gonna try to figure it out,
and I'm a panic on the back end.
Okay, like, you gonna get the final product and you gonna be like, oh my gosh, this is good. And little did you know, when I said yes, I didn't know what I was doing. Okay, but so how do you, like, how have you planted yourself in environments that have helped you grow? Like, how do you get in the room with those people who can answer your questions, with those people who can help push you forward? Yeah,
I really do believe it depends on where you are in life, right? So for me, I started my creative journey, where I did my first internship at a church called Ford City. Ooh. And that was where I have learned, I'm not kidding, I have learned literally every single thing that I know because of that one place, right? And the funny thing is that most people think that when you're looking for internships or you're looking for opportunities to be able to help, right, people don't actually look at a church, right? People like,
I ain't gonna lie, I ain't gonna look at.
Yeah, everyone's like, oh my gosh, like, there's no way that I would, like, try to submerge myself in that environment, because, like, they're not whatever. And it also depends on the church, right?
Right.
But little did I know that that was the exact environment that I needed, that gave me every single skill that I have currently to be able to transfer to actually making real money outside of the church field, or even if it worked for other churches or worked for other people. Like, it was that environment. And I honestly would say, you just need to volunteer. You're gonna have to do some stuff for free. You are gonna have to do some stuff for free. And it was a hard reality for me, because I was like, there's no way, like, I don't know nothing at this point, right? I'm just like, there's no way that I'm just gonna give all my time and effort. Little do people know is I gave my life for 3 years to push myself as a creative. Like, you don't get to be around like creative minds like Dinar or Pastor Matt, and you don't think about like actually giving time. Like you are investing in your creativity when you invest your time. Like that's the only, like, it takes a long time to be able to learn how to conquer stuff like video editing and photography. Like, you have to be willing to say yes to doing stuff for free. And I'm telling you, that right there will be the thing that allows you to get into so many rooms. Like, imagine if you wanted to learn how to be a photographer. Imagine if you asked somebody like Michael Michelle, hey, like, I really want to learn. Are you okay if I bring my own camera and I just come along on this gig with you?
Right.
To help you. I can carry your camera bags or whatever the case may be. Like, you have to be hungry in order to learn to be that self-taught creative. You have to have the drive in you. You have to have like the sponge ability to be able to learn to get everything that you can out of every environment, but you have to be willing to even put yourself in that environment. And you might not get any money from it. Right. But you're going to get some real skills that is actually going to help you be able to be self-sufficient. And I would say that during the time I didn't understand it, right? Like, on the other end, I was like, oh my gosh, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm just spending I'm stressed. Like, I'm spending 12 hours. Like, I'm spending all of this time. But then I like looked down, I looked up, and I like produce a podcast. I'm a better graphic designer. Like, oh yeah, I graphic design. Like, see, that one I am confident with. Like, I'm a better graphic designer. Like, I can video edit, and I'm like, I'm a self-sufficient creative now versus just being somebody who just, I'm just taught everything myself. Like, no, now I'm self-sufficient because I gave something more valuable than just money for an e-course. Like, I gave my time to people who I know that was just as invested in my growth as I am in mine.
And I think that brings up two different things for me. One thing, Kiani talked about it last week on the podcast about investing. And some people don't think about it. When they think investing, they think in equipment, they think in money, they think in courses, but they don't think about in time, investing in people. And I think CJ kind of mentioned how you can invest in a person and like get that return on investment. And I think it's so important because a lot of times, like, you can get a textbook, you can have a recipe, you can follow it by the T, and the food don't taste the same. Why? But if like your grandmother gave you the recipe word of mouth, she talked you through it, it could turn out 10 times better. Like, you could get so much more from a relationship and a person than like you can get. Like, you can get the ebook. You could do that.
Get the ebook.
And you could do that. It's good bones, but like, you get so much more. I feel like when you put yourself in real life, practical advice, when you put yourself in those situations where you can like pick people's brains about it.
And I really do believe it's really about proximity. Like, proximity is the key.
It gets you in rooms.
It gets you in rooms, because if it wasn't for Dinar, there would be no way that I'm literally was PT Live Record Oil and Water. Literally allowed me to come to Greenville, didn't know what I was doing, and his assistant ended up being sick. And I ended up running the whole thing, like helping Dinar run the whole thing, because he was also an artist and as well as a creative director. Like, it was about proximity, saying yes to being his assistant for free, that he even gave me that opportunity. Like, he has helped me so much grow as a creative just because of proximity. He got me in rooms. He got me in rooms, which allowed me to get the internship, which allowed me to get the job, that allowed me to push like all the things I have. Like, I'm telling y'all, just say yes. Say yes to the thing that's free, because it's going to be the thing that helps you.
Okay. And so, like, as someone who's starting off, right, they have little or no experience, and you might be scared and, like, intimidated to get into these rooms where we talked about being the smartest one in the room. If you walk into a room of smart people and you dumb and dumber, like, it might be a little scary, right? So, like, what has helped you, like, even if it wasn't with the most confidence, what like allowed you to walk through that door and go in those rooms where you knew it was spaces with people who were had more information that they could pour into you, but like it felt uncomfortable because when you went in there, like you said, you saying yes to stuff you don't know how to do. So like, what helped you walk into those uncomfortable environments that you knew was going to give a return on your investment and help fertilize your growth?
I think the number one thing for me is that even when I am not confident, and I know people hate when you say fake it till you make it. I know people don't like it when you say fake it till you make it.
Sometimes.
But even in Greenville, the reality of it was my first live recording. It wasn't like I've never even attended a live recording before then. And so I have like the editor talking to me and just like, and like trying to communicate, and I'm like,
I don't know what you said.
I've never done, baby. I ain't never did this before. Okay. But I think the ability to just be like, you got to be humble now. Don't just go in there and think that you just like, I just know everything or whatever.
Don't sell a fake.
Don't sell something that's fake. Okay? But you just have to have like confidence enough in yourself to know that you are actually in a position where you want to learn. You coming in there as a sponge will actually give you the confidence that you need, right? So I came in there like, not that, oh my gosh, I know everything or whatever the case may be, but any task and anybody, like I just went for it and I just did it, and I did it scared. I was actually terrified, okay, because you're gonna have to do things scared, but just doing it scared, you're not always gonna be confident. I think that's really the reality. You're not gonna be confident in every single room or every single project. And I could say this now just because I know I'm currently working on a project, and I don't know if she'll watch this or not. And I don't want to tell about that, but I don't know if she'll watch this or not. But I was asked to do a lyric video for her live recording.
Baby,
I ain't never did a live recording. I've never done lyric videos actual like day in my life. But I did the first one, and I sent it to Pastor Matt, who's like a mentor, and he was like, oh my gosh, she's like, this is really good. And I was like, I'm glad it was, because I didn't know what I was doing. Because it's not about doing things super confident. It's about trying.
Like, and being willing to do it.
Yeah, and be willing to take the criticism to be able to get better. That's the only way that you actually grow. Like, you have to start somewhere. And I'm going to send you the picture of the very first graphic that I made. It was for PJ, and you
want me to put it on screen?
Yes. I'm going to let you put it on screen. I'm going to let the people judge me a little bit, because it wasn't because like I knew everything that I was doing. Like, they had a need and they didn't ask me to do it. I just did it, and I did it scared. But it was a thing that allowed other people to see, oh my gosh, like they was able to see something in me because I did something and I did it scared, and I wasn't even trying to be the most confident in it. Or when I got into the room that I didn't feel like I deserved, I just showed up and gave them what I knew and hope that somebody else in the room would see some potential that was greater than something I didn't see in myself.
Right. And I think that's a big thing. Like, you have to be willing to go into that room. Like, you can be scared, you cannot be sure, but like, if you're willing to put yourself in situations that can potentially help push you forward as a creative, like, that's like taking your first step. And also, like we said, fake it till you make it. Like, baby. Honestly, that's essentially faith, because if you walking like you talking,
it is faith.
But you ain't made it yet. Like, that's literally faith. So, like, you got to have faith that, like, you know, this is what you're passionate about. This is what the Lord called you to do. So I am, like, trying to put myself around the resources that the Lord also created to help, like, push you forward. So I think that's really important. So, like, is there anything, like, if you could go talk to Asia, what you said, worship encounter editor?
Yes.
if you could give her any encouragement, looking at where you are today, producer, lyric video designer, graphic designer, like everything that you do today. Because I remember, like, I didn't meet worship encounter Asia.
You did not.
I met intern Asia that was editing everything on the phone. Like, that's who I met. And to see what you create now, like, you literally have she's produced this whole season, you guys, so give her, insert crowd noise here, but like, you literally like have produced this whole podcast. This is your second or third podcast you have produced. Okay, let's give you your accolades. Okay, like, this is your third podcast you produce. You do graphic design, like, you do this. You do this, like, but if you could go back and tell Worship Encounter Asia, like, some sort of encouragement, letting her know that, like, you do this. before she knew she could do this? What would you say?
Man, I love this question. I would honestly tell her, like, baby, don't give up.
Okay.
Like, I would say don't give up and be your own biggest cheerleader.
Period.
You're worth it. Like, you do this, like, for real. And just believe in yourself. You'll go further than what you think that you can.
I love that. And that reminds me of something that I beat a dead horse with this all the time because I be telling people like how I stay inspired or whatever. And like, if you go back, like I'm sure if you could find that worship encounter video and go back and watch it, you would be like, oh my gosh, like, what is that? But you will only be saying that because you've grown so much. And so one thing I like doing is sometimes I'll go back and I'll look at like my old videos.
I'm gonna find that graphic.
I'll go look at my old videos and like I'm like, dang, like this was a really good video. Like, dang, why ain't he doing this? No, like what happened? Like the moment you start to think like you're not that girl or you don't do this and you go back and you look at something that you done previously, you be like, I do this. Like, maybe this I got is fire. I'm that girl. And so sometimes you got to remind yourself with your own work.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I have another question.
Okay.
This is going to be my last question before we do like a this or that.
Okay.
Because, you know, I got to end with a this or that.
I'm excited.
What's your favorite hat that you wear when it comes to whether it's producer? This is off the dome. Producer, editor, like what's your favorite creative title that you like to do? Tell me your favorite and then tell me the one you think you're best at.
I'm a better I think producer and graphic designer is maybe tied and tied. I actually do enjoy this is so hard. I didn't actually did not think it was gonna be this hard. I would say it's tied. Can it be tied?
Okay, fine.
Okay. I would say that I am pretty decent producer. I would say producer would be my favorite. Producer would be my favorite. Okay. And I would say that
what you think you're best at?
Honestly, I feel like I'm like an I would say producer too. I say I like producing because it's a thing that I'm the most new at, but I feel like it's a thing that I'm the most natural at too.
I love you producing.
I like me producing.
Like it's like she talked to you now. She gonna tell it to you straight. She gonna be like,
I'm gonna give you a look.
Do it again.
You should do that again.
Let's try it again.
I'll do it just like that. So, you should do that again.
I love that so much. So, okay, producer, period. So, okay, we got the this or that game.
Okay.
This is how we wrap up every episode.
I know you put so much thought into these.
I did. So, I put a lot of thought into yours. I'm so excited about yours.
Okay.
Okay, so you ready? It's going to be rapid fire. You got to go quick.
Rapid fire.
Okay, you ready?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Count us down, producer.
Okay, 3, 2, what?
Faux locks or box braids?
Faux locks.
Final Cut or Premiere Pro?
Final Cut.
Podcast or YouTube?
Podcast.
Okay, tacos or pasta?
Taco.
She don't like Olive Garden, y'all.
I do not like Olive Garden.
Easy to read or TPT?
She's talking about Bible, y'all. The Passion Translation.
I knew you was going to choose that one. Okay, producer or editor?
Producer.
Canon or Sony?
Canon.
Ooh, autofocus or manual?
Manual.
That is so ghetto right there. Like, who? Anyway, orange chicken or bourbon chicken?
Bourbon chicken. Okay. For sure.
Really?
Yeah.
Shushaya.
Now, ask me for bourbon chicken anywhere else, I'm going to say no. Shushaya.
Okay, last one. Graphics or video?
Graphics.
What?
Yeah.
Graphics, but you like producing?
Yeah, I do like producing.
In Final Cut Pro?
Yeah. But I still think graphics for me, it's where I started. So it has a special place in my heart.
But she has said that is not her favorite.
This is not my favorite. It was going to be, but video editing and graphic design was going to be neck and neck for me. Because video editing is more time consuming for me than graphic designing. Because a girl graphic designer, like I could bop something out in like no time.
Okay,
So
you heard it here first. So that's the this or that with my girl Asia. Okay, and so you got a new business.
I do.
Tell the people about it.
I got a new baby. Okay.
Yes.
And it is A-List Creative.
Period.
Right. It is a creative agency where we do all things creative. Right. So you need somebody to produce your podcast.
If you like the quality of this, I mean, hit her up.
Please. If you are, I mean, honestly, whatever you need, I can do it, or I know somebody that can't do it. I am the end all be all. Like, I could hook you up. Like, I actually am the girl to know the people that can actually hook you up. Like, anything you need. You need graphics. You need sermon clips. You know, a church that need help. Like, I'm your girl. Period. I'm that girl.
She's that girl. So if you like the production quality of the podcast, hit my girl up. A-List Creative.
Period. See, I just want everybody to know there is nobody else like Jasmine over here. Okay, there's nobody else like Slim. Okay, she gonna put your friends on. Okay,
it is. Period. Cause we gonna get in the room.
Okay.
We
gonna get the bag.
Get the bag. Okay.
In the name
of Jesus. Amen. So can you tell the people where they can find you on social media and A-List Creative?
Yeah, so you can find me on social media at Asia Tressel. It's TRESTEL.
We gonna put it on this. We gonna put it on the screen because we do this. Lower thirds. We do this.
No. And you can find A-List Creative at alist.crtv.
That's so cute.
And y'all got a website too.
Okay, tell them the website.
It's www.alistcreativeagency.com.
Period, Pooh. So thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I hope you enjoyed it.
I did. This is so much fun. I was really nervous. It's really fun.
I don't know why she was nervous, y'all. Because
it's the one and only Slim Reshae, everybody. If y'all did not know, Slim Reshae, okay?
Per 275K, stop playing with me. I'm just playing, y'all. I love y'all so much, man. Thank y'all for tuning in. And until next week.